Good morning, everyone. Now we are going to make a video about the indigenous people. The Spanish and American colonization of the Philippines institutionalized the distinctions among peoples in the country into mainstream, Christian, Muslim, and peripheral tribal minority. Indigenous communities were deprived of the right to their ancestral domains through so-called development activities. They were the possess of the land detail for their livelihood. The marginalization, disposition, and other forms injustice continue long after colonial rule and gun. This article briefly traces the historical development of the legal measures that lead to the oppression of the indigenous peoples in the Philippines. Are well discussed the current measures that address the problem. To prepare for the article, the author review the major laws as well as the political system from the colonial period to the present, and analyze materials related to the training programs at the Northern Illinois University that contain critical reflection that arose from the focus group discussions among representatives of the indigenous peoples from Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao who attend programs. Indigenous people in the Philippines belong to different ethnic groups and reside in different parts of the country. There are more than 100 indigenous communities in CIP 2010, about 61% of whom are Mindanao, 33% in Luzon, and 6% in the Visayas. The indigenous people in the Cordilleras in northern Luzon are, are called Igorot. They belong to different ethnic groups such as Buntok, Ibaloy, Ipugaw, Isnig, Kalinga, Kankanay, and Tanggian, Dagadang, Ilunggot, and Ibatan are found in Cagayan Valley, Isabela, Nueva Ecija, and Quirino. The Negrito groups are found in north central and southern Luzon. They called the Ita and Dumagat. The Mindoro Island has 7 distinct Mangyan groups. Palawan Islands have the Batak, Palawana, and Tagbanwa. The indigenous peoples in Mindanao, collectively called Lumad, do not consider the Bangsa Moro and the Christianized Filipinos as indigenous peoples in view of their adoption of non-indigenous religions. The major lumad groups are the Manubo, to Bagubo o Bilaan, Tibuli, and Tiduray groups. Number 3, the Mandaya and the Mansaka groups. The 4 is the Subanin, and the 5 is the Mamanwa. Life was hard them before they experienced discrimination, and there was also a crisis, and had no jobs, employment, and livelihood opportunities were limited. They had poor living conditions. If an indigenous person was seen as someone disempowered, someone who cannot progress in life. Indigenous people were not quite aware of their basic rights, particularly on ancestral domain. When the ILO stepped in, that was when they learned about their rights and what they can do with their land.
Ugayam galayaman Hanakan nandat dato Tain kanigan ganason Di kultura ang dilu